Mic test. That seems like that's working. We are about to start then. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the second Sunday of our summer 2015 season of Concert in the Park, featuring the Pocatello Municipal Band. This is one of many programs and services of the Pocatello Department of Parks and Recreation. This evening's concert is co-sponsored by Rob Deloach, President of Comfort Care Home Care. Before we begin our music, oh yes, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, Rob. The band would like to extend a big thank you to audience members who were here early and moved all of those heavy benches around from the side. So thank you very much. That's great. Please join the band and me in welcoming our director, Pocatello's Mr. Music, Joe Willis. Opener this evening was Under the Double Eagle, a march written in 1902 by Austrian March King Joseph Franz Vagner. The title refers to the double eagle in the coat of arms of the Austro-Hungarian double monarchy. The Sousa band recorded this march 3 times due to its popularity. One of Great Britain's most accomplished composers, Ralph Vaughan Williams, was born in 1872 in the English village of Down Ampney. He studied at Trinity College, Cambridge, the Royal College of Music, and later studied with Max Bruch in Berlin and Maurice Ravel in Paris. Our next selection is Vaughan Williams's Sea Songs, one of the simpler works by Vaughan Williams for band. This setting of English sea songs was written in 1924.
Changing the title from sway to shuffle.
Shuffle is, sway is the English version of a 1953 mambo instrumental song by Mexican composers Luis Demetrio and Pablo Beltran Ruiz. The most famous English version is that of Dean Martin, recorded in 1954. English lyrics are by Normon Gimble. Our next selection, this selection, features tenor soloist Stephen Behr, who was Highland High School's choral director for several years. Mr. Behr grew up in Berkeley, California, studied at BYU in Provo for his bachelor's and master's degrees in music, and tells me that as the youngest of 5 children, he was known in his early years as Baby Behr. Stephen's wife, Susan, is from Malad, and they are the proud parents of 6 children and grandparents of 18, with the 19th and their first great-grandchild on the way. And now, sway.
Start to play, dance with me, make me sway, like the lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold me close, sway me more, like a flower bending in the breeze, bend with me, sway with ease, when we dance you have a way with me, sway with me, sway with me. Other dancers may be on the floor, dear, but my eyes will see only you. Only you have that magic technique. But it's me, only you. I can hear the sound of violins long before it begins. Make me thrill as only you know how. Sway me smooth, sway me now. ¿Quién será la que quiera a mí? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será la que me dé su amor? ¿Quién será? ¿Quién será? I can hear the sound of violins long before it begins. Make me thrill as only you know how. Sway me smooth, sway me now. Sway me smooth, sway me now.
Maybe so. That's working now. Okay, great. Let's have another round of applause, please, for Stephen Behr. Thank you. And he will be joining us in a few more songs for another selection. Our next selection is the Joseph Olivadoti composition entitled Saragosa and published in 1965. Saragosa is the capital city of the autonomous community and former Kingdom of Aragon, Spain. This piece is a paso doble, which means double step. Saragosa. When George and Ira Gershwin wrote I Got Rhythm for the 1930s musical Girl Crazy, they created one of the catchiest melodies in American history. Little did they know that their lovable song, apart from becoming a hugely popular jazz standard, would evolve into something far greater. The song itself, on the most basic level, provided a structure that served as a model for many other successful jazz tunes and became the perfect vehicle for jazz improvisers. Who could ask for anything more? The Lion Sleeps Tonight originated in the 1930s as a Zulu hunting song in Swaziland, then was recorded in South Africa. When a copy came to the U.S. in 1948, folk singer Pete Seeger got a hold of it and started working on an English version, recording it with his band, the Weavers, and he called it Wimaway. The 60s band, The Tokens, then recorded the revision by George David Weiss, Hugo Peretti, and Luigi Creatore. It was picked up by the Kingston Trio in 1959 and others throughout the years, including Disney's 1994 hit movie The Lion King, where it was sung by Timon the Meerkat and Pumbaa the Warthog. We will now perform the Paul Cook arrangement of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Born in Peru, Indiana in 1891, Cole Porter grew to become one of America's premier songwriters. His name derives from the surnames of his parents, Kate Cole and Sam Porter. Our next selection was written in 1932, the ever-popular Night and Day, arranged by Paul Yoder, and featuring tenor soloist Stephen Behr. Herb Alpert was born in 1935 in Los Angeles. He is known mostly for his group Herb Alpert and the Tiajuana Brass. And as a recording industry executive, he is the A of A&M Records. Alpert's musical accomplishments include 5 #1 hits, 28 albums on the Billboard charts, 8 Grammy Awards, 14 platinum albums, and 15 gold albums. As of 1996, Alpert had sold 72 million albums worldwide. We will now perform the Ted Ricketts arrangement of Alpert's tunes in Tiajuana Brass in Concert. Chris. Christine, come on up, please. It's time. She's on her way there on our left. Good. Our corporate sponsor this evening is Comforcare Home Care, of which our trumpet player Rob Deloach is president. Rob. Yay. Clients live in their own homes on their own terms with the help of Comforcare's highly trained, experienced, and compassionate registered nurses and certified nursing assistants. You may look for Comforcare at comforcare.com and on Facebook. Our guest conductor this evening is Christine Corey, Director of Business Development for Comforcare Home Care in Pocatello, Idaho Falls, and Twin Falls. She and her management team have 15 years of experience in long-term care. Chris comes from a very musical family. She began playing the violin in the 4th grade and played it throughout junior high and high school, when she also played with the Idaho State Civic Symphony. 1 year there were 3 other members of her family playing in the symphony at the same time. Chris and her sister Colleen were chosen to play a violin duet for the Youth Symphony Concert in 1974, one that I remember very well because I got to hear them perform. After high school, Chris received a scholarship to attend Idaho State University, where she studied with Harold Mealy. Chris's brother, John Corey, and son-in-law, Rob Deloach, are current members of this band. Chris joins the band to conduct the Charles Roberts arrangement of The Little Giant March by H. Moon. Take it away. As a second, Chris, you get to have an ice cream punch card from Jungle Retreat. Compliments of your brother, John Corey. Let's have another round of applause for our guest conductor, Chris Corey. Klaus Badelt, born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1968, is a composer best known for composing film scores. Badelt has contributed to the Oscar-nominated scores for The Thin Red Line, Prince of Egypt, as well as co-producing the score to Hollywood box office hits Gladiator, Mission Impossible 2, X-Men, and Pearl Harbor. We will now perform the John Wasson arrangement for band of Klaus Badelt's score to Pirates of the Caribbean. We have time for a quick story, right? A police officer pulled over a car on the highway and walked up to the driver's window. He said, "Lady, as soon as I saw you coming around the curve, I said to myself, 65 at least." The driver replied, "Well, officer, you're way off. It must be this car that makes me look that old." The officer checked her driver's license and said, "Ma'am, it says here you're supposed to be wearing glasses." "Oh, but officer," came the reply, "I have contacts." "Ma'am, I don't care who you know. You're still supposed to wear your glasses." Two thumbs down I got from the front row. Oh, no. Well, if you liked or didn't like that one, you'll like this one even less. Now, see, that was an old story. I have an uncle who was an optometrist, and he told me that when I was a little kid, and I just thought that was so funny. And it still is, right. But he told me another one. He told me about the optician who fell into his lens grinding machine. You know what happened? He made a spectacle of himself. Those girls are older than I am. Born in 1910 in New York City, Frank Loesser never studied music formally, although he couldn't help coming under its influence in his childhood. His father was a distinguished German-born teacher of classical piano, and his older brother, Arthur, was a renowned concert pianist, musicologist, and music critic. Loesser wrote his first song at the age of 6. The original production of Guys and Dolls opened on Broadway in 1950 and ran for 1,200 performances. The film version, starring Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons, Frank Sinatra, and Vivian Blaine, had the highest box office gross of 1955. And now, the Calvin Custer arrangement of highlights from Guys and Dolls. Thank you to our wonderful audience for attending this evening's concert, and to soloist Stephen Behr, to Rob Deloach and Chris Corey from Comfort Care Home Care, our corporate sponsor this evening. On behalf of the Pocatello Municipal Band, this is Alan France reminding you to join us next week at the same time, same place, for Concert in the Park. Our final selection, Semper Fidelis March, published in 1888, was composed by John Philip Sousa. After the march, please stand for our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.